this is Christina Barr. You're watching Black Tea News. Hello, welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr, and today we're going to be talking about a children's show, Bluey. People are upset because there was an episode where they featured some fat shaming. There was a character, the dad, I guess, wanted to lose some weight, and people were very disturbed by it, which I find that very interesting because, like ABC, and I guess when it goes to Disney Plus and stuff, it's going to be edited out. However, they put some weird stuff on Disney Plus and other places, and I don't understand why it's okay to have things like drag queens on kids shows, but not like weight loss and stuff. And it's so interesting how sensitive people are to this particular topic. And since, hey, I'm a heavy gal, I feel like I can lend my 2 cents into the conversation. So we'll be talking about that. Also, there was an interview that Simone Sanders did on the Morning Joe that I thought was pretty interesting, about the Democrats the DNC not doing any debates because Joe Biden's running for re-election. And she just outright admits it, that it's not going to happen, that they're not going to host any debates. And I thought the attitude was pretty amazing considering that she used to be, she thinks like the progressives should just get that out of their heads. And I'm like, didn't you like work for Bernie Sanders? So I find this all very amazing. I'm not fond of Simone Sanders at all. I have not forgotten some of the things that she has said on air. So we'll be talking about that. Also, Budweiser is really, man, they're losing some sales. They're acknowledging that they screwed up, but they're still not conceding on the ground that I don't know. They're not taking the route that I think a lot of people want them to go in as far as a culture war. But I don't actually know if there's anything that they can do to undo a lot of the issues with their image now. Because I think the biggest thing is that this boycott is now kind of more organic, and they have a huge image issues, and we'll get into that. But thank you guys in the chat. I see you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all those who watch it back later. God bless you. Anyway, before we jump into everything, I want to encourage you guys to go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on the website, different articles, videos, etc. Please check out different merch that I have at the store, like the black tea mug. We got that available. We got the You Are Not That Special. We got that in a shirt. So check out things that we have at the store. That does help. If you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. Cost of stream, cost to run my website. You might be watching on YouTube, but I'm streaming at multiple platforms and stuff. So I have like different things to help me out while I am streaming. So there's, costs associated with that. Like when I make fancier videos and has like templates and all that kind of stuff, there's costs associated with all those different things. And there's equipment and other things that I'd like to get. So if you can help, I do very much appreciate it. You can, if you're watching on Facebook, you can send stars. If you're watching on YouTube, you can do super chats and stuff like that. But if you can, go directly to my website to support in that way. Also, please check out my book. Of course, God is Blatantly Against Abortion. Thank you to everyone who has purchased a copy. I hope you guys who have it are enjoying it and reading it and liking it. And hopefully there's a lot of good debate tactics and or I guess reasoning rather. I don't think I'd teach you how to debate so much, but there's a lot of good reasoning dealing with particular kind of all kind of facets of the abortion debate. There is obviously the theological aspect of it, but it covers rights, and it covers philosophy, It covers the biology. It touches on a bit of everything. Also deals with the societal harm of abortion, why we need moral absolutes, and other things like that. So it's a very well-rounded book. I probably could have been working on it forever. I had to pull the plug and actually put it out sometime. And so I could probably dive deeper into the subject again with another book that doesn't touch on theology. And for anyone who asks, like, why'd you even include that? Because, you know, people will try to just dismiss it. I'm like, because people try to dismiss me anyway. So I wanted to do something also for the people who, I mean, there's a lot of people in the country who identify as Christians and have a lot of voting power, but they are either ambivalent or on the fence. I think a lot of people are honestly pro-choice because they're just ambivalent, and it's not that they are pro-abortion, they're just pro-leave. I don't care. I'd rather not be bothered. Haven't thought too deeply about it, you know, and it feels just a little too mean to them to say you can't do it. So anyway, I saw there was a need, so I made it. So please check it out. Thank you guys for getting it. And also I will be again at Motor City Comic Con coming up. So if you're in the Metro Detroit area, that is going to be on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So I'll be in Artist Alley, and my sister will also be with me there too. The one who did the cover for the book, she does amazing work. So she also, some people started asking questions at the end of the broadcast. I was cutting it off, so I couldn't answer. So she does. Let me go to her website really quick. Let me go to her website. Bear with me. I'm gonna go to her website and share her screen. So Tina, she does lots of different stuff. So she has mini paintings. She does regular size paintings. She teaches people how to paint. She does custom like shoes. Like she can paint on your shoes. In the text portraits is she'll like draw a picture of you or basically anything, but she'll just do it like writing over and over and over again. So what you would do is you would get with her. She will have like some kind of scale to show you how detailed it can be, and the detail and the size and how many words or whatever it is defines like the cost. But she also has like prints and stuff on there that she sells. So okay, I'm on the website, so let me share my screen. So this is her website. Let me put myself down here so I'm not. And so these are some of her minis. I think she just made this one, maybe, or something like it. Like I just watch her little. So she has all these like little teeny ones that she has. They're so small. They have such detail in them. So people at like Comic Cons and stuff, they really, really love these. Like look at the Sally one right here. Nightmare Before Christmas. So people love to give them to their friends and coworkers or whatever. And they come with the little easels, and you just, you know, you can put them on your desk, you can put them wherever, but they're so cute. This one's really cool. I don't know what this is, but and she can paint bigger things as well. I know you guys are here for the news, but just bear with me. I'm a proud big sister. This is her first text portrait that she did of Jensen Ackles when she was in high school, and we're like, those are really good. This is somebody's baby. They did a commission piece there. That's the Detroit skyline. Look at some of these shoes that she did. Hold on. Here's the text portraits. Here's some of the ones that she has. Like she has Donald Trump, Obama, Reagan, Marilyn Monroe. You know, got some Marvel people. She's got these Jokers, a collection of Jokers. The Harry Potter one says The Boy Who Lived. That one's pretty neat. People love this colored TARDIS one. It just says TARDIS over and over again. Except for where it says like I think the bottom has something, the space time. I don't watch a show. I'm sorry. She'll have to explain that to you. I don't know if she's in the chat somewhere, but she's really really talented. So before I'm just bear with me. Let me show you the shoes before I move on. Tattoo the shoes. So people will send her shoes or whatever, and then she'll like paint on them. So these are her shoes that she did for herself. So they're like her Miles shoes. And she also painted a backpack to match along with it. So I don't know, maybe my nephew really likes Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I think she did something for him too. So she did these Twilight Zone shoes. She's a huge fan of the Twilight Zone. So she made those. Someone had her do some Cardi B shoes. You got the Pikachu meme face. So she's these are really cool. So they're like Catwoman from Batman Returns, and then they glow in the dark. So really really awesome stuff there that she does. Again, she's the one who did the art for my book. Of course, God is blatantly against abortion. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can show that again. So she could do plenty of traditional kind of stuff, but yeah, she's the one who did the art for this. So just wanted to give her a bit of a shout out. So thank you guys for bearing with me before we get to the news of the day. She's so good. So anyway, I don't have a meme for you guys. I'm just gonna jump into it. So Bluey, which I've never heard of Bluey. Maybe I've heard of it. I don't think my nieces and nephew watched the show because I don't know much about it. But it's apparently popular. So this is from Deadline. Bluey episode edited by ABC and BBC Studios after viewers complained about fat shaming. So, again, this is a bit ridiculous to me, but Australia's Emmy-winning kids show Bluey is at the center of a row after ABC and BBC Studios edited an episode to address concerns about fat shaming. The season 3 episode, titled Exercise, featured Bluey's father, Bandit, embarking on a fitness regime after he stands on the bathroom scales and grabs his pouch. Viewers said it promoted toxic messaging about weight. Aussie girl Margie, a TikTok user who has built a following analyzing Bluey, said apparently Bluey is totally okay with fat shaming now. I wonder how big that account is, and if there's so many people on TikTok who complain about this stuff just in general. I wonder if that's maybe where stuff started kind of like exploding, but who knows. That hasn't hit my algorithm. She added the fact that they added in the scales and showed both parents being sad and disappointed after seeing the number on the scales is pretty problematic. Pediatric dietitian Dr. Kayla Ringrose wrote, watching Bandit and Chili weigh themselves and openly hate on their bodies in front of the kids, it was really uncomfortable. The episode aired in Australia on April 16th, but is yet to land on Disney Plus, which has a deal with the distributor BBC Studios to stream the series in the UK and US. When Exercise does stream, it will be an edited version of the original episode. The ABC said the recent episode of Bluey Exercise has been republished by the ABC following a decision by the makers of the program. The new version provides families with the opportunity to manage important conversations in their own way. As the home of Bluey, the ABC's supports the decision to re-edit the program, and we have updated the episode on our platform. BBC Studios will use this revised version for global distribution and also support this decision. it is not the first time that the cartoon about the lovable family of dogs has been shrouded in controversy. In 2020, Ludo Studios producers cut the term ooga booga from the I read this already, but it didn't like register the ooga booga from Bluey episodes teasing and flat pack after a viewer complaint it has racial connotations and a problematic history for Indigenous Australians. People are so serious about this stuff. But what's crazy though, and I'm going to share the screen so people just even know what the dog is, because again, I'm not too familiar with Bluey, but it's an Australian show. But I mean, just because it's like not American doesn't mean I don't know about. I mean, I know about Peppa Pig, but I know about Peppa Pig because my nieces and my nephew were really into it. So I don't think they watch Bluey, but that's Bluey. What's crazy about this to me is that, okay, so ABC streams, this stuff and we'll put on Disney Plus. Do you know what kind of garbage they put on Disney Plus for kids? They put all kinds of stuff on Disney Plus for kids, including was there not a drag queen singing about pride? I'm sure maybe some of you or most of you have heard about the Christmas special drag queen thing that was going on. There was clips, all over Twitter and stuff, of some of the really profane, perverse dancing and skits and stuff with the Rudolph the nippled reindeer and other stuff like that. But Nina West was the person who was like hosting it. And so Nina West, which I got into a conversation with somebody a couple weeks ago, and they were like, about drag queen and drag queen story hours and other stuff, and they thought it was okay for people to be around drag. I'm like, have you seen like some of this stuff that people are into or showing their kids or whatever? And or some of these performances, and they didn't seem to be aware of some of the really lewd stuff. And I'm like, well, what about Nina West was on like Nickelodeon? They're like, I don't know who that is. I'm just like, Nina West was on RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know if Nina won or whatever, but I mean, I guess I know who Nina West is because Nina West was on Blue's Clues leading a pride parade and Blue's Clues is from 3 to 5. It's like preschool age. So it's like 3 to 5 is like the ages for Blue's Clues audience or target core demographic. And now I don't think they maybe aired this on an episode, but I think it was like a digital special or something that they made. Even so, that was a pretty wild thing that happened. I had a super viral video, at least on TikTok. Actually, I think it pretty much went viral on YouTube when I finally posted on YouTube, about that. Because a lot of people were just like, this is too much. Like, why are you going for the kids? And some people were like, no, they need representation. And I'm like, bro, why is a drag queen? I'm like, what? Okay, besides the whole nature of, well, not even besides, they're adult entertainers. I'm not saying there's not clean drag, but they are adult entertainers. And Nina West, that particular drag queen, does adult stuff. So why is this a person you want on Blue's Clues and Nickelodeon? So there's that. But also drag is just, I know people like it or whatever, but it's just really a minstrel show, but it's mocking womanhood and femininity. And if, people like weird humor or whatever, so I'm not trying to throw you under the bus or something, but that's what it is. It's basically a minstrel show, but instead of mocking black people, you're just mocking women. That's what it is, So if adults like off-color, darker humor or something, that's one thing. But why, if kids are establishing their identity, why is this man, who is exaggerating being a caricature of a woman, and you can't say they're not because they're called drag queens, and they use feminine like pronouns and stuff when they address each other. So that's totally the gist of it, that they are mocking, pretending to be women while they're wearing this makeup. I also find the aesthetic really displeasing myself. I think they look like, I'm not, I'll just leave it alone. But I don't like that. If you can read my tweet, what I said the other day about it. But yeah, I don't. like anything about it myself, but I'm like, why the 3-year-olds? Why the 4-year-olds? And the crazy thing about the Pride Parade, they were showing all these kind of different kind of families, but no one was straight. Like, or maybe they were. There was like a family that was allies, and I think that was like number 9. And I'm like, why, if you're trying to show that all these other families are the same as a traditional kind of family, why is there no traditional family with a mom and a dad and their kids that they had naturally together? Like, why was that not a representation at all? So and then people push back against that point, like, well, we've seen enough representation. I'm like, no, you will never have enough representation of of a mother and a father who get married and have their kids. That's the backbone of civilization. You can have a family in whatever kind of way that you please, but you start deteriorating that kind of family and society, we're just done for. That's one of the reasons why you have such high crime in areas and other stuff where and all sorts of different issues, run away from home, people not graduating from high school, all kinds of drug use. A lot of it can be, you can point the finger to fathers not being in the homes with their kids and other stuff like that. And you can be mad at it, but it's just more likely to happen. I'm not saying if you're a single mom or single parent or something like that, you can't like make it or something, but it makes it significantly harder, and God bless you and Godspeed to you. But yeah, you can never have enough representation of a nuclear family. You just can't. But why is it that you can't have people trying to lose weight or talking about losing their weight, getting their body in shape, but they'll have Nina West sing about pride, on Nickelodeon and on Disney Plus. Disney they did a This Is Me special, Nina West, from the song from The Greatest Showman, and they had all kinds of different stuff for like their pride event or whatever. So that's the kind of stuff that they want to associate with your kids. But Bluey's parents or whatever, like, I don't know Bluey, if Bluey's a child or Bluey's a dad, but that's just too much, huh? Now, as a big gal, I've got to say, I really don't like fat pride. I don't like the attitudes that people have around it. Like, I don't think you should treat yourself like trash, but we are putting a lot of pressures on our body, and it would be a good thing if you lost weight. And the older you get, the more you're probably like, man, you should really take care of this. If you desire to be around for a long time, there's a lot of things I'd still like to accomplish and to do. And it would be easier if my body was smaller. So people like being prideful about being unhealthy, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't think you should beat yourself up about it every day, though. I mean, I think you should be like, I should do something, but the ball's in your court. So if people try to come at me about my weight or something, I'm like, I'm not going to give you the power to make me upset about something that's totally within my control. Totally within my control. So you didn't eat to get me this size, and you're not going to exercise to make me lose the weight. It's all totally in my hands. So I'm not going to let someone else make me feel bad about my size or something like that. So, I don't think if you don't like where your body is at, I think you should just go ahead and make the difference. But don't let people tell you that you're fat phobic or it's wrong. The implication is that it's wrong for them to feel that way about their body. How is them wanting to lose weight and get in shape not valid? How can you treat people who are big and who like the size they are? Someone like Lizzo or somebody, who's very her fat is basically like a gimmick, but which I don't understand, because I mean, I don't relate to her music or anything like that. I know she has some hits and stuff, and she's very popular, but she doesn't need like the gimmick, I guess. But the uplift, it's her and other folks, and you see ads of like really big people for like getting ready for summer bodies, and like there's just like this hatred for people who are fit, or the idea of like, yeah, you should lose weight. People are totally against that today. And it's not good. I was gonna say I don't understand it, but I maybe do understand it. But I mean, it's just a continuation of the decline of our society, I guess. But everybody's hurt no feelings or whatever. There was an article the other day. I meant to read it to you guys about if somebody works out or something, they're more likely to be conservative, and like that was a bad thing, or that people will work out and it will lead them to like I don't know, self-discipline and conservative values or something. And I'm like, this is pretty hilarious. I'll have to go back and find it and maybe go through it next week. But yeah, there's a total attitude against people deciding to live healthy lifestyles. And it doesn't make sense why people choosing to be fat and be comfortable with the skin they're in and being like very, out and loud about it. That's fine. But it's not valid if people say, I don't like where I'm at in my size and let me do something about it, and it's good for people to know that they have agency in the situation. What I said, like, I'm not gonna let people make me feel bad as if I don't have agency in the situation. I do have agency in the situation. So it's not your power to give and take away. It's all in my hands. So if I feel bad about it, that's on me, But if I want to make a change or don't want to make a change or whatever, that's all on me. And the health concerns or whatever occurs after that, that's all on me too. It's totally my situation. I have full agency in the situation. It's harder, if people have different like other health issues, why people might be big or whatever, like, hormones, thyroids and all kinds of different things that can contribute, like medications, whatnot. Everybody's body's not the same, but I still hold agency in the situation. So if there's a cartoon and the parents want to lose some weight, and I assume the rest of the episode they probably did things to lose weight, how is that not good? You don't like something about your body, with as far as fat, holding things that can be unhealthy, and you do something natural to try to get rid of that. But we have a society that's like, puberty, we don't want you to have to go through that. So go take some, puberty blockers, some chemical castration drugs. So you're not torturing kids and making them go through this natural process of puberty. So that's another thing that's bonkers to me in our society. That we could be okay and celebrate people literally not being themselves. But it's a bad thing if someone's like, let me drop a couple pounds. We have a society that just wants to worship decline, things that are unhealthy and death. But before I move on, I do want to say another thing about like fat idols and stuff like that who are really into fat pride. Don't trust people who are really into it. Like they lose weight eventually. Like Adele used to say, "Oh, I'm so busy working," and she was working. I'm like, that makes sense. She's out there doing her thing or whatever. And you know what? She's super skinny today. Lena, what's the name? Dunham, who was in the TV show, it was a Girls or something like that. She's like a fat, gross slob that she thought, I don't know, that was kind of her niche or something, her shtick. And she started losing some weight, and she's like, "Oh, I actually feel better." You had the girl who was fat, Amy. She started losing weight to I believe so she could have a child, but I think she just did a surrogate anyway. But she got famous for fat Amy, but she ain't fat no more. So I don't know if Lizzo's gonna rock that size her whole life and go to the grave with an extra large casket. I don't know if that will be her life, or at some point she'll be like, you know what, I'd like to do the things that I like and to do them longer and more efficient. So let me lose some weight. Like that might come a day. So if you have a fat hero, like, don't trust them. Eventually they slim down because it's better for them. So again, there's nothing wrong with teaching kids that they have agency about, like, if they're a little chubby and childhood obesity. I don't know how bad it is all around the world, but it's bad here in the US. So it's not a bad thing to teach people that they can do something about it, you know? And again, I've never seen Bluey. I don't know how the rest of the episode like progressed. And, cause the things they were complaining about didn't sound like a really big deal, you know? But fat shaming is not, you see something unhappy about your body and you want to do something differently about it. And if wanting to change something about your body is bad, please tell me why we are so gung-ho in our society to celebrate gender identity and affirmation, and kids taking puberty blockers and hormones, and, you know, teenagers chopping off their breasts, and why is that okay? Because the math ain't math. It ain't making sense. It is not making sense. Anyway, let's move on. I want to play this video from the DNC. So Joe Biden has said that he's running for re-election, and he does have a challenger. And we went through Kennedy's video interview that he had with ABC. Was it also ABC? It might have been NBC, but it was a major network, and they edited stuff. They claim that stuff that he said was just kind of too awful or misinformation as far as like vaccines and stuff like that. So they, with their editorial conscious or whatever, they just decided not to air certain portions. I'm like, why didn't you just debunk them? Why have the interview so the viewers could see that he was a ridiculous person? Because now I'm just like, when you censor somebody, it just makes people curious a lot of times, you know? So like, I'm not saying that some people you shouldn't censor, but you got to kind of make the case why they should be censored, and you telling instead of kind of showing makes people very curious. There's one race. How you attack someone can make people want to fight for that person and stick up for that person. Lisa McClain, she's a congresswoman in Michigan, and she's not in my district. I probably, because of the PAC that I'm, the Brighter Michigan PAC, and how closely they are in Macomb. I don't live in Macomb County, but there's so many events and stuff that they do in Macomb, and I've probably seen Lisa more than any Congress person in Michigan. But she's not my congresswoman. But anyway, when she was elected, she had a pretty fierce battle, and the former congressperson decided to come out for her rival, and he was like, I'm no conservative. She's no conservative. And the way that, and because of some shady stuff that I won't get into today, I was like, well, I'm not totally trusting his word anyway. Well, I guess the shady thing I'll say is my sister ran for chair in 2019, and we were at an event, and he had never met my sister, didn't have a conversation with her, and he was for her opponent, which was fine, but the way that he kind of like campaigned for the opponent, I'm like, you don't know anything about the person she's running against, but you're here so aggressive. So anyway, he did a video that was dissing her pretty hard, and I'm like, I didn't know, I wasn't following the race because it wasn't my race, I wasn't voting for or whatever. So I started looking stuff up about Lisa, and I'm like, McClain, like John McClain. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I started looking up other stuff about her. I'm like, I was talking to my sister about it. I'm like, we kind of like her. So sometimes the more you attack, the more you draw people that way. So it's kind of curious with Kennedy here. So I'm going to show you this interview from that Simone Sanders had on Morning Joe, and there's a lot of reasons why I think this is interesting, but I'll get to it as we go through the video.
Junior, doing well. He's at 19%. Hasn't really gotten that much out there. I mean, and I'm starting to hear more and more talk about him. Are we going to actually have a challenge here?
I'm trying not to laugh, Joe. There's not going to be.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
Do you know how many people said the same thing about Donald Trump? in 2015 on this show?
Except
said
I will
the
note,
same exact thing.
Yes, because there was going to be a Republican primary. But I really think that the mealy-mouthed Democrats, as I like to call them, and some of my progressive friends who would like to live in a fantasy land, they need to come back to reality. Yeah. And the reality is this. The sitting president of the United States of America is a Democrat that would like to run for re-election, so much so that he has declared a re-election campaign. Right. In that case, the Democratic National Committee will not facilitate a primary process. There will be no debate stage for Bobby Kennedy, Marianne Williamson, or anyone else to stand on.
So we're going to have another Bobby Kennedy in an empty chair in the debate, right?
There will be no debate.
Yeah, no debate.
The Democratic National Committee administers the debates, and they're not going to set up a primary process for debates for someone to challenge the head of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. David, a lot of Democrats concerned about Joe Biden. They may not be saying it in front of the television camera, but man, get those cameras off.
So, what's interesting about Simone Sanders here, she used to work for Bernie Sanders on his campaign and stuff. And then when Joe Biden ran, she decided to go for Joe, and I'm like, well, that's different. That's different, because you're like you're their progressive, hero or whatever, and then you jump to like establishment Joe, but because she was on Joe's campaign and stuff, I'm like, people who say stuff like, oh, Joe's gonna be this moderate, or like, don't worry or whatever, because of people he was staffing, I'm like, they're gonna do crazy stuff. They're gonna do some crazy stuff. Something I won't forget about her, has nothing to do with this topic other than I remember she said this, but there was, after 2016, there were people who were like being attacked for like voting for Trump or whatever. And there was there was a video of some guys who attacked a person, I think that a Trump hat or something. And then they were being dragged by a car or something like that. And they're like, and there's a Republican person on the panel debating, and they mentioned this person was attacked. And I think they were like, sorry, this is wrong, but I think the people who attacked them were black. But she was just like, oh, poor white people. And I'm like, bro, like, why can't you just be like, violence is bad. Attacking people because of their political ideology or for whatever reason, like, is bad, But she just was like, oh, poor white people. So this blatant, we're not gonna debate, like, get over it. Is that a good thing? Like, I understand, I guess, party politic wise, you try to affirm your strong hand or something, and you don't want to cause a mess, and but it is like all a part of the democratic process, correct? They're all like, we gotta save democracy, but we can't have a debate. Especially since things are not going the best. Our economy is not great, and the banking situation is continuously, seems like it's going to get worse. People are talking about people doing possible bank runs, and like they, bailed out the big bank and big tech in California, but we still got a lot of other problems. We've been in a recession, technically, for a minute. I was thinking today about gas. I was pumping gas, and I'm just like, are we just really living our lives like this is normal? Like, it's normal how high gas still is. Like, God bless the fact that it's not like, as high as it was, but we were living a different world, guys. Like, I'm like, just thinking, like, are people really okay with this? Like, going through life pretending like we didn't have it better, like it wasn't under $2, like in a different administration. Like, there's so many things that are wrong right now. I was listening to Ben Shapiro earlier, and his show, he was talking about how our Surgeon General was talking about how there's an epidemic of loneliness and isolation, especially with our youth. And they're listing all these possible things they could do to help or whatever, like community basketball or other, and not like, meaningful. Ben was talking about how we need like to restructure society around like meaningful, community things like church and other things, faith and other stuff like that. But they didn't go like, oh, maybe that was a problem that we, shut people in their houses and wouldn't let kids see their friends, and we let people in nursing homes die alone after we like mix them with COVID patients and killed them, So there's that. I mean, so many people lived in such fear and loneliness. One of our church members passed away during that time from COVID, not from COVID, but she passed away from cancer, and her girls weren't in school for a while, and well, like most kids, and I just, I'm like, they didn't even have that outlet to talk to to go hang out with their friends and stuff, because they've shut down our schools. And like, so they don't have, I mean, they took they seem to be fine and stuff from what, conversation stuff I had with them. We talk about Pokemon and other things like that. They're such sweet girls. But I'm like, what are we doing to society? What are we doing to society by isolating people like this? And then like destroying their businesses, destroying their livelihoods. And if people have the nerve to fight and say, I would like to keep working and save my business and be able to provide for my kids, they would want to like put you in jail and fine you and like destroy your business. So it's just wild to me that so many people just like got away with that or gonna continue to get away with that. And the most you could probably do is at least make some of these people pay with like political repercussions. And unfortunately, that didn't happen in Michigan, but maybe it happened some places. But it really, you missed your shot in California with the recall. We missed our shot with the midterm with Whitmer. Now, not everybody experienced the pandemic the same. People got money from unemployment and their stimulus checks, and, people went and bought Nike shoes. And I say that because I live near a mall, so I'm just telling you the truth. People were like, buying Converse and Nikes and going to Champs and other stuff like that. And, while other people were like really concerned about how they were going to be able to make it. So not everybody experienced the pandemic the same, and it's just crazy what we did. It's just crazy what we did. And it would be insane to me if Joe Biden, who fought and extended it, and then had the dumb OSHA mandates where people were just so concerned if they would still be able to work and have a job if he got reelected. So you have this other option, and Kennedy might not be the only one, but they're flat out saying we're not going to have a debate. And I get it from the DNC's perspective, but to be so blatantly like, whatever, get over it. Like, there seems to be like no conflict of self with this position. And perhaps there's not. I mean, she's been in the game for a while. She knows how it works. I would be totally surprised if the DNC, had a debate while their president is a nominee. I wonder if the RNC would. That's a good question. I think they probably maybe would. Maybe. Because they don't shut stuff down like the Democrats do, like the DNC does. And there are times, I guess, where that works better for the DNC's favor, or times when that's shady. But I don't know if they would or they wouldn't. I know that they wouldn't want to, and they wouldn't. If Trump was still like if he had a challenger in 2020 or whatever, would the RNC have felicitated debates? If it was a serious challenger, maybe. But that would have ticked off Trump and the RNC. They wouldn't have wanted to do it. They would have had to have some really good numbers. I know they wouldn't have wanted to do it. I'm not convinced they wouldn't have. It's an interesting question though, but Bobby Kennedy not having support and not gonna get a shot really, and being at 19%, he might get a higher number. So if he gets higher numbers than 19 and climbs and starts, breaking into the 30s or something like that, do you think other Democrats would probably jump into the race if Biden was that weak? Because if he could get that, do you think someone like Gavin Newsom, who's clearly wants to be the president, do you think he would not want to jump in, or other people wouldn't want to jump in? Now they make deals and do favors or whatever all the time. So maybe someone with some more like political skin in the game or something wouldn't jump in. Someone, Bobby Kennedy is like doing it on principle right now. And so him jumping in, a lot of people probably can't talk him out of it at this point. So that's why he's jumped in. I don't know if like someone with higher aspirations like a Gavin Newsom would be like gung-ho, like, no, I'm going to do this thing, just if the situation, if 2016, if 2020, if there was like a primary for Trump or whatever, people wouldn't have done it. There are people who have talked about it, who maybe wanted to, but they wouldn't go along with that or try because too many people liked Trump. Like he was too popular within the Republican Party. People will go along and vote for Biden. They have a saying, vote blue no matter who. But that doesn't, he's not a popular president. And people understand that he's very old, and there could be something wrong with him. And I think there is a lot of things wrong with him. But there's a very real possibility that if his opponent is like not Trump, there's a lot of people who believe that Trump will come in and end up beating him. But there are people who are polling better than Biden right now on the Republican side who's not Trump, like Ron DeSantis, for example. If it's not a rematch, people might be nervous for Biden to be the nominee. So I don't think, never say never. I think their primary could be more interesting than we give it credit for. I think it all kind of depends. Like if Bobby holds out for a while and his numbers get bigger, there might be some other egos that are like, no, it's my time. It's my time. So just like DeSantis he hasn't declared yet, but it seems pretty obvious. And Trump is like, what are you doing, young whippersnapper? Like, you ungrateful. It's my time. There might be another like attitude out there that's like, no, Biden, you had your moment, and we can't risk you losing. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, let's move on. So I'm gonna talk about Bud Light, but really quickly, there's a woman's line of clothing that has decided to do an ad that they got blasted for, so they ended up taking it down. No, I think it's still there. It's still there, but you can't comment on it. So it was like anthropology or something. Maybe I'm living under a rock. I've never heard of it myself, but I'll show you the ad, but they took off the comments. So there's no music on this one anyway. So yeah, just dude in a dress, in several dresses, just showing his stuff. That's not cute, by the way. Not just him doing that, but the dress itself, that dress isn't cute. So that's what they're putting on Instagram, to sell their clothes, and maybe it's just like to get buzz, but they took off the comments and stuff, so maybe they got more buzz than they meant to get. What's interesting about the Budweiser stuff versus like other talk of like boycotting or whatever is obviously the Bud Light one is pretty successful. You're seeing damage actually being done to Budweiser and the company. they've had to address it, and that is, people are really they're losing sales. And so people have asked the question, like, why is it that that's successful, but you haven't seen, like, really other brands hurting? Like, people have talked about Nike, people have talked about, and this is all like in relation to like Dylan Mulvaney or whatever. So he did a thing for Nike. People are still going to buy Nike. He did a thing for Tampax, or Tampax sent him things or whatever. Excuse me. He came out and said himself that he didn't have like some kind of deal with Tampax or whatever, but they did send him. Then there's he did the Ulta thing. People did talk about boycotting Ulta. I don't know how successful that really was. I know that Dylan did come out and say something about it and address it. And there's other brands. I think everything that I saw that he has been a part of are things that I don't buy, except for Olay. Now, I've already had Olay, and I guess I maybe just won't be getting Olay for a minute, because but there's this Budweiser thing is more successful, and is it because it's like mostly men drink it, and women are just like not coming together enough to tell these brands to knock it off? Is that really what it is? Kind of, maybe. Is it, or is it that the Budweiser thing, it's their issue is now there's a stigma associated now. Like, I saw a meme the other day. I wish I'd saved it. Saw it on Facebook, but it was like, when you see him pick up a Bud Light, and it was Brokeback Mountain. So it was Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger, like, in their, from the film, look at each other like with doomy eyes. So the implication is, if you drink Bud Light, then you're gay, or you're beta or something. So and if you're watching and you're gay, I'm not trying to like put you down or something, but that's just kind of the thing, the jokes that are around right now, that it's like really unmasculine, or that it's effeminate or whatever, and that's really taken on a organic life of its own. So even if they come out and apologize or whatever, which they've addressed that they've been harmed by this boycott, and that they're losing a lot of money, and I mean they're losing a lot of money, and people are making observable differences of people just not buying Bud Light.
This is so funny and bizarre. Look at that. That is the Bud Light. That is every single Bud Light stand here at Fenway Park in Boston. Right? We're at the Red Sox game. That's what the Bud Light stands for.
So I just turned off the sounds because I didn't want to get hit with the music. But yeah, people are observing that people are not buying. People are not buying this stuff. So I've talked about how I saw videos with vendors who get paid when this stuff gets bought, and they're like, I can't feed my families now because people aren't buying this product. So if anyone knows that people aren't buying, it's people whose their livelihood is attached to this stuff. And it is awful that they're in this situation, but people don't want to buy it because, now there's a stigma of this man who mocks women, talking about his 100 days of girlhood that they put on the can. So their whole kind of like push up against like Dylan Mulvaney and stuff is to say, like, that was one campaign, it was one thing, it's not a major thing, it's those isolated incident or whatever. But they still made a can do with his face on it. So that's what a lot of people are thinking about when they look at this stuff. Now, there was an article that Daily Mail had put out about Anheuser-Busch CEO finally disavowing Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light partnership. It says it was not a campaign after firm sent letter to retailers blaming an outside ad agency for approving it without management awareness as sales crashed 26%. But I wouldn't say that was really an apology or whatever. Like, they're just, letting people know, like, that it wasn't like a upper management, like, thing or something, but they have, like, fired people for this. However, they also let it be known that they're, still supportive of that community and stuff. So I don't know what they can do about it. Again, I don't drink, so it's not a boycott that I could participate in anyway, that I can make a difference. So I wonder if you do drink and you do drink Bud Light, like, is there something at this point that can be done for you to go back to Bud Light? Would it take like a full apology, the company denouncing them, or some years, or what will it take to get you back to the Bud Light? I'm curious. Because I don't know how you kind of undo the brand issue, but here was a statement that he had put. Matt Walsh was like, for all you who are kind of like celebrating about Bud Light. Well, he said, "This is why I didn't push to promote this guy for his original statement like many conservatives did. I saw the cave coming from a mile away. To heck with cowards who will stand firmly by the truth. This dude is a 70-year-old rich, 70 years old and rich. What does he have to lose exactly? Pathetic." So Paul Stanley had put out a statement for something else. This is this is a different issue that's going on, but people were celebrating him for something along this line. He said, "While my thoughts are clear, my words are not. Most importantly, above all else, I support those struggling with their sexual identity while enduring constant hostility for those whose path leads them to reassignment surgery. It's hard to fathom the kind of conviction that one must feel to take those steps. A paragraph or two will remain far too short fully to convey my thoughts and point of view, so I will leave that for another time and place." So a lot of people who will say one thing, like the Macy Gray issue, when men are men, but she changed her mind and said that womanhood is a vibe. A lot of people will be bullied back. So even if Bud Light comes out and says something, they could just always just draw it back. So are people just done when they make a statement? Like, is there redemption in this? I just don't know where people want to go all the way with this. So I'm just curious, because I think their brand is just kind of shot. And I'm not saying they can't rebrand and fix it or something, but Bud Light did put out a statement some time ago, and it was like a nothing burger. We read it on the air. They just kind of acknowledged that there was an issue, but I don't see them like denouncing gender identity if that's what people want. So are people just done with it? I'm just asking, because I'm not associated with this brand. Now, when it comes to like Olay or something, I haven't even seen that promotion or thing that people said with Dylan yet. I'll have to look it up. But if he's doing that with Olay, I guess there's other brands I could use. It's not the only one I use, but I do like some Olay. So what is it about Bud Light that the boycott is organic and they could cripple them, but ladies, we got all this stuff that he's using that is ours. And they're just continue trucking along, and the Anthropology can do like ads with dudes in dresses dancing around and stuff. I think I was talking to my sister the other day about this, and she thinks like with fashion it's kind of different though, because they've already like had a lot of like effeminate stuff, like CoverGirls having dudes in makeup for their fashion brand and stuff. So this isn't actually new as far as fashion, and it's kind of ingrained a bit. So if you're looking for people to do outrage and them to like do a 360, I don't know if that's going to happen in beauty at all. I don't know, unless people decide to stand up and do something. So just maybe we've been on the fence too long. Maybe we have. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Please go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, different articles, videos, etc. Please check out my book. Of course, God is blatantly against abortion. Again, if you didn't start from the beginning, I did show my sister's website and some of the stuff she had on her site and some stuff that she does. So please go ahead and buy a nice painting or something from her. But she did such an amazing job on the cover. She's very, very talented. But my book covers theology, philosophy, rights, why we need moral absolutes, a calls for redemption over condemnation. Like, I didn't write this to condemn women to hell or anything like that. That's not why I wrote this book, but I do believe abortion is an evil thing, and I like it to end it. And it's got a lot of good, reasoning and other things like that. So it is like a religious bent kind of book, obviously, but it has a lot of information on the topic of abortion stuff. So that's available on Kindle, and it's available at Barnes and Nobles. Also, check out different merch that we have at the store, blacktnews.com. Let me show you just a thing or two before I get going. May the 4th was the other day. I should have totally showed this the other day. I didn't realize it was May the 4th till pretty late, but yeah, that's available at blacktnews.com. I'm not the victim you're looking for. I made this shirt after the Gina Carano situation, by the way. And I got other shirts you guys can check out at the website. Also, if you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. It costs to stream, costs to run my website, all that good stuff. So if you can, I thank you. If you can't, I understand. But if you can, like the Bible says, you have not because you ask not. So I'm asking. So, and again, I will be at Motor City Comic Con in a few weeks. So if you're in the Metro Detroit area, I'd love to see you there. If you're not, you can still buy my other books on ninjadustpublishing.com. You can just search my name, Christina L. Barr, on Amazon. So go ahead and check it out. So God bless you, and I'll see you guys on Monday.